Hey, welcome back to our Album of the Year series. I know it's been a little bit since I've posted a video, but we are back in the swing of things, and we're going to be ranking, well, not ranking, that's the Sunday stream, but we're going to be going over some of our favorite albums from the year 1973. Very big year in music, lots of classic albums. It's kind of difficult narrowing it down to just three albums because so many good ones came out this year. And because we're in the year 2023, every album we're mentioning in this stream today is turning 50 this year.
Yeah, crazy. That's nuts. Like these albums, I these top three albums I'm listing don't even feel like they're 50 years old. They have
Mm-hmm.
such a I don't know such a timeless feel to it.
Timeless, yeah. It just shows that if you make good timeless music, that it's going to be listened to 50 years from now. So, all
Yes.
right. For people who have never seen this series before, we go with our third favorite album of 1973, our second favorite. Then we throw out some honorable mentions, ones that we wish we could have included in the top three, but maybe just like weren't quite as good as the three we had. And then we go with our album of the year in 1973. So without further ado, let's get going. Number three.
My number three. Let me have to pull out the record for it. Is gonna be Dark Side of the Moon. Uh, what else about this album that isn't there to be said about it already? This album is one person said it perfectly. It's the greatest album of all time, but it's not my favorite album of theirs. I agree. This is the greatest album of all time, but it's just not one of my favorite. It's not like the top album of the year though. Like it's just perfect. The songs go into each other, kind of like the Abbey Road medley. That's what it reminded me of when I first listened to it. I'm like, ooh, it's kind of like the Abbey Road medley where the songs go into each other, but like it's basically the whole album. And basically this is basically a story about life itself, about birth up until death, and and basically all the steps along the way. And yeah, it's just a great album. My favorites would definitely be Time with that awesome guitar solo by Roger Gilmore. A little bit overplayed, but hey, I this is like one of the few overplayed songs I still really enjoy to this day. Great Gig in the Sky, even though it's just a woman screaming, definitely incorporates birth pretty well. Money, I enjoy. Us and Them, my favorite track on the album actually. Brain Damage and Eclipse, I like that two song mashup, but they got played on the radio so much it kind of got ruined for me. But yeah, On the Run really interesting too. But that's all I gotta say. Dark Side of the Moon. See you on the Dark Side of the Moon.
There is no dark side of the moon. As a matter of fact, it's all dark, really. The famous last words spoken on the album. Uh, my number three is Goodbye Yellow Brick Road by Mr. Reginald Dwight, aka Elton John. Um, really great album from 73. It's a double album. I kind of feel like it could have been a single album, but then, like, a lot of these songs, I feel like, what would I take off? The only ones I know I would take off is the stuff on the third side, which I don't like as much, but sides 1, 2, and 4 are really great. It opens up with this epic, this like 11-minute epic Funeral for a Friend, Love Lies Bleeding, with just this ominous synthesizer music and storm sounds, and then like the music just keeps building and building until it finally gets to the main song. Candle in the Wind is great tribute to Marilyn Monroe. Benny and the Jets, really fun, cool piano. Goodbye Yellow Brick Road is a classic song. This song has no title, is really good. Gray Seal is an amazing song that not very many people really know about. I've seen that movie too, another amazing song, really cool reverse guitar solo. Saturday Night's Alright for Fighting, amazing guitar work on that one. Roy Rogers, kind of a fun little country song, and then it ends with Harmony, which is another really underrated Elton John song. So, number three is Goodbye Yellow Brick Road.
My number two is gonna be Yellow Brick Road. Uh, Interesting how I rank it higher than you did. And I only listened to it one time, but yeah, crazy enough, I think it's better than Dark Side of the Moon. Probably because only two of these songs are overplayed, and Dark Side of the Moon had like three or four songs that are overplayed. But hey, uh, yeah, it's incredible album. Side three, not crazy about it, just like Garrett. It just kind of drags along the album. That's the problem with double albums is that like a lot of double albums just kind of like drag. The only double album I've ever listened to that didn't do that was "Songs in the Key of Life" by Stevie Wonder, and heck, that album even had a EP on it, and even that EP didn't drag the album down. That's how great that album is. But I'm gonna get to that when we get to the album of 1976. But we're on 1973, so I'm gonna be talking about this album. But yeah, side one's amazing. Side two I like better than side one. I love that side a lot. Side four, great. Saturday Night Saturday Night's All Right for Fighting isn't my favorite song on the album. It's good, but it's not a song that I would go back to a lot. It's good, but it's not the best. Harmony, while it's a great song, I wouldn't consider it to be the best closing track. But yeah, it's my number two though.
Cool. My number two is an album that I don't have, but I've seen it at the record store a million times and probably could get it anytime I wanted. Quadrophenia by The Who. Now, when I first listened to this, I didn't really like it, but then like people kept saying keep listening to it, and now I'm finally getting it. The premise of the album is that it's set in the mid 1960s, where a teenager is kind of going through life at the time and kind of figuring his life out, and he's got like four different personalities, which are represented by four different songs on the album, which are Love Reign Over Me, Hopeless Dancer, Bellboy, and Is It Me? Which Is It Me is just, it's not an official song, but it like appears a lot throughout this album. But he kind of goes through different things that teenagers would, like he gets mixed up in some kind of gang stuff in The Punk Meets the Godfather. He gets in brawls a lot. He witnesses like his girlfriend ends up with his best friend and he gets mad about that, so he goes to the beach and just tries to get away. Reconnects with an old friend that used to be a gang leader who now has a respectable job, and he feels like he turned soft or something. And so he ends up stealing a boat, getting really mad, like doesn't even know what life is about. And then when he steals the boat, a storm comes, wrecks his boat on the side of a rock, and then he realizes, hey, like maybe I need to let love into my life, and that's the answer is love. And so just really amazing music on this album, especially the closing track, Love Reign Over Me. That one is amazing, and it's my number two album of 1973.
Okay, for my honorable mentions, then my number one right after that is, well, my first one is good. The first three are going to be solo albums by the Beatles. George Harrison's, I forgot which one. I was looking up best albums of 1973, and I looked at it, I'm like, wow, that's a great honorable mention. Let's look it up, though. Yeah, Living in the Material World, that's an amazing album. A lot of great stuff on it.
Still need to listen to that one.
Give Me Love, Give Me Peace on Earth. Easily one of the best songs on the album. Best song on the album is the title track, Living in the Material World. Sue Me Blues, I love. Who Could See It is great. This Is All I Like. Try Some Buy Some is great. Definitely not as good as the album that came before it, which is the amazing All Things Are Past. All Things Must Pass, I mean. But definitely a great follow-up, though. Next one is Mind Games by John Lennon. I love that album. I don't know if we're ever going to be doing a ranking video of him someday, but that is my favorite album of his. I know a lot of people think Imagine is his best, but there's two songs that tell me it's not the best. One being I Don't Want to Be a Soldier Mama, but yeah. Mind Games, amazing opener to an amazing album. Tight As is good. I'm Sorry is a great song. One Day at a Time I love. I think Elton John did a cover of that one. Bring on the Lucy, Free the People is great. And Utopia International Anthem is just like a 2-minute silence track. It's not even a track at all. Intuition is great. Out of the Blue, Only People is great. I Know is good. Meat City I like, and You Are Here is great too. Definitely, it probably would be like my number 4 spot if we did like a top 5 album of 1973. But yeah, that's how great that album is. Another honorable mention, Ringo, aptly named Ringo, the album. That has like basically, this album is almost basically a greatest hits compilation. Photograph, You're 16, You're Beautiful in Your Mind. Uh, I'm the Greatest is amazing. Oh My, 6 o'clock. This album is basically a Beatle reunion, but like it's basically like I might get hate for saying this, but I think it's better than the album I'm gonna say it's like. But it's basically like Mardi Gras, like how like they got back together, but it's like not like it's not like the same how it was. But like this album's like a lot better than Mardi Gras,
Yeah.
but yeah, this album
It's like
just
like a Beatles album, but Ringo is singing all the songs.
yes, except it works and it's not
It's
garbage.
not bad like Mardi Gras.
Yeah, this album has like a bunch of great songs. That album only has like one great song on it. But yeah, I love that album. Next album in my honorable mentions is a Stevie Wonder album. Yeah, he was just making amazing albums year after year. Interventions,
That's a great one.
love that album. It's so good. He's Mr. Know It All. Higher Ground, easily the best track on the album. It's just if that song doesn't get you moving, like doesn't make you like ooh, this is get your head bopping at least. I don't know what will. Living for the City is great. Definitely reflects on the times it was back then for minorities back then. Living for the City, and definitely glad it's no longer like that. Golden Lady is great. This whole album is just like his albums from Where I'm Coming From to Songs in the Key of Life. It's basically like Stevie Wonder's greatest hits, Volume 1 and 1 to wherever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't really have any much honorable mentions, but let's get to my number 1 album though.
All right. Oh, hold on a second. Oh. I got to do my honorable mentions first.
Oh, I forgot the order. We haven't done this in like 2 weeks.
Okay, the first, not real albums, but I'm just going to throw this out just because these albums were really important to me, even though they're not real albums. The Beatles' Red and Blue album were released in 1973, and even though those are greatest hits, those are the albums that kind of got me into the Beatles. Now onto the real albums. Band on the Run by Paul McCartney and Wings, really great album. Don't Shoot Me, I'm Only the Piano Player by Elton John, that's a great one. Holland by the Beach Boys. Leonard Skinner's first album. Captain and Me by the Doobie Brothers. Intervisions by Stevie Wonder. And Piano Man by Billy Joel.
I'm surprised that Piano Man was an honorable mention.
It's good enough to be on the honorable mention list, even though it's not one of my favorite albums of his. It's still Billy Joel.
Yeah, most of those honorable mentions that I didn't mention are definitely on there. Band on the Run's amazing. But, yeah, sorry about the misorder. Probably, yeah. Quadrophenia. I think this is like the second time I ever put the Who on a number 1 spot. I think I did the Who Cell, and that was it. Like, weird. Coming from my favorite band.
They've at least been in the top 3, though, for most of these years.
Yes. I will give them that. I think maybe the exceptions of Magic Bus, but yeah, this is Quadrophenia. I'm the Sea, giving like hints to what's to come. Bell Boy, Love Rain or Me, Bell Boy, Bell Boy.
Got to keep running now. Keep my lip button now.
The Real Me is amazing. Like one of the best, if not the best, bass line that Who has ever gotten. It just. It's like almost like a guitar line in the beginning with the. It's like so good.
You know
That's a
something funny
genius.
about this song? They went into the recording studio and all the other people had recorded their parts other than John Entwistle. And John Entwistle said, just go ahead and roll the track, I want to warm up. And he played that, and he deliberately was going crazy on the bass, and he just wanted to play around. He's like, alright, now let's do it for real. And they said, oh, nope, we're going to use that take. And like, wait, you were recording?
That's crazy. Who knows such a great outtake could be one of the greatest, to me, if not the greatest bass line of all time. The title track is amazing. Kind of like the overture theme, but like in my opinion, much more mature and much better than the overture theme from Tommy. Cut My Hair is great. Pete Townsend on lead vocals, really good. Yeah, this song's the one with the zoot. Here, yeah, I think this is the one with Zoot Suit, where they're like Zoot Suit.
And then they say, like, I just can't explain, or something like that.
Yeah, like referencing their older songs, which wouldn't say they're older, but like almost like 10 years old. I think it was like 8 years old. Those songs at the moment. The Punk Meets Godfather is the best song on side one for sure. It's amazing.
That's a great one.
I'm One is great. I like kind of Pete Townsend's kind of like echoed vocals on this one. It's really good. Their Dirty Jobs, I like. Roger Daltrey does an amazing vocal on this one. I'd say this is his second best album in terms of vocals. His best vocals being on Who Are You, which when we get to that album I will. Helpless Dancer, I love that track. Even though it reminds me a lot of Roger Waters a little bit. The way Roger Waters Daltrey sings this song reminds me of Roger Waters. If that makes any sense. It reminds me of like Be on the Wall or something. Like a track that he wrote for the wall, but it was like, you guys could have it, but I was like predates it by a long time. Is It in My Head? I love that track. It's amazing. I've Had Enough closes the side amazingly. Seeing 515 is amazing. Seeing Sand and Drowned. They may not be the most memorable songs on the album, but they're still amazing, especially Drowned with the I Wanna Drown in Cold Water. I forgot how that went, but I remember going somewhere like that. I'm like, dang. The way he sings it is just like, oof.
I like how it kind of sounds like he's slightly underwater at the beginning with his vocals on that song.
Yeah, it's great. Oh, I Wanna Drown in Cold Water. That's just the way he's
with that piano.
Bellboy, even though it's a little bit of a goofy track, I still love it. I feel like who wrote Mother again from The Police?
Oh, Andy Summers.
I feel like he listened to that track and was like, I'm gonna do that, but like a lot worse. Dr. Jimmy, even though it doesn't have the best lyrics musically, it's amazing. The Rock, great instrumental, and Love Rain or Me is an amazing opener. I might take my statement back. This is the second exception to double albums having at least one filler track on it. I think this album's perfect front to back.
All right, time for my number one album, which I've said that this is not my favorite album by this band, and it's not. I said it was my third favorite of theirs, but I'm going to retract that statement. It is my second favorite album by this band. My number one album is The Dark Side of the Moon by Pink Floyd for 1973. Now, the first time I listened to this album, I didn't like it, but I was open to listening to it again. Now, that means usually that it's going to be a really good album if I don't like it the first time I've heard it, but I'm like, I think I can try that again later on. Because it's pretty much every time that's happened, when I go back and re-listen to it, I'm like, nope, this is amazing. Like Pet Sounds or Asia by Steely Dan. Those are some more albums that I didn't really like the first time I heard them, and then when I retried them, I'm like, nope, I was wrong, this is amazing. But Nick said some very good things about this album earlier, about kind of how it's a story of life, and kind of the things you deal with going through life. I'm going to have to open this up to see the track listing because I want to make sure and cover all the different songs on here. It starts off with this ominous heartbeat, and whenever you play it on the record, it sounds really cool because the speakers like shake the room, and you can really feel the heartbeat. It's just like boom, 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 and you can hear a little bit of what's to come, a lot of foreshadowing. You can hear the cash registers on Money. You can hear like the flying planes and On the Run. You can hear the screaming in Great Gig in the Sky, and then Breathe comes in, and it's just this really chill song. Really relaxing, and then you get to On the Run after that, which is about being in a hurry to go everywhere and kind of the fear of not getting where you're going on time, and it kind of goes with the airport, which YYZ by Rush is another instrumental song about airports, so it's interesting that there's two instrumental songs about airports. But then the plane crashes, and then clocks chime, and you get to Time, which is a really telling song about how sometimes you feel like you're wasting your life, and you're not really going anywhere. You just feel like you want to not do anything, but then time catches up to you. We have a comment. Concert Buddy's watching. How's it going, man? Anyway, Time. Sometimes you feel like you just want to be lazy, but then you feel like time catches up to you, and it feels like you wasted your life, and it's just kind of leading up to death, which is what the Great Gig in the Sky is about. You kind of hear like the British guy in the background saying, "I'm not afraid to die," or something like that, and then you get the amazing piano music kind of building up. And this one was written by Richard Wright, and he did an amazing job writing this one. And all it is just the piano music. And the band kicks in, and it's just this lady like wailing away, and like just amazing vocals. This is my favorite song on the album. But then you flip it over, Money, another really great song where they use cash registers and money type sound effects to kind of lay down the beat to this song. It's really good. It's about greed. Then you get to Us and Them, another really great song. Any Color You Like, an amazing instrumental song. Brain Damage, which is a tribute to their former band leader Syd Barrett, and then Eclipse, which is a very amazing way to end this album. So that's my number one album of 1973.
I always thought Richard Wright was the best Pink Floyd member.
You know, I don't think you're wrong. His piano and synthesizer work on all the albums really kind of just elevates them to another level.
I always thought he was the most underrated member of the band. Like, he doesn't get appreciated as much as
like on this album, Great Gig in the Sky, On the Run, like all those like atmospheric synthesizer parts he plays on this album really elevate it to another level. If you're looking at Wish You Were Here, a lot of the synthesizer on Wish You Were Here is amazing, especially like Shine On You Crazy Diamond. And then the piano parts and the keyboard parts he plays on The Wall really elevate that to another level too. I need to listen to Animals, because that's another one that I hear is a good one. But
I'll tell you what about Animals, even though it's a little too political, the songs though, like they may be daunting because of the length of the tracks, but like most of those the three tracks would go like that, like I don't know, like especially Dogs, even though there's a section where they're just like stone, it's still really good.
Well, I've listened to Thick as a Brick, which is one 40-minute song, so
Yeah, I'm not crazy about that album. It's not like an album that I'm like, I'm not crazy about, but I gotta revisit it kind of way. I'm just like, it's like an album I'm probably never gonna listen to again.
Well, at least all of the Animals songs aren't going to be that long.
Yeah.
Anyway, thank you guys for watching. We're really glad you stopped by in our 1973 stream. Get ready. We're going to jump over to Nick's channel in a little bit. We're going to have a different video. But thank you guys for watching, and stay tuned for a big announcement, because Sound Lab Studios is going to go through a little bit of a reboot, but it's going to be something really big and something really great, so we will see you guys later.